Obviously, I don't want to get hit by a tsunami, but it's like, that'd be cool if I saw a tsunami.
Yeah, once in a lifetime opportunity.
And now at 8, most of the West Coast is under a tsunami advisory after an 8.8 earthquake hit off the coast of Russia. This is a map of where that earthquake hit yesterday afternoon. Officials say it was the 6th largest earthquake on record. Good morning and thank you for joining us live here at 8 o'clock. I'm China Green.
And I'm Drew Carney. We have Rod Hill standing by with the latest on this advisory from the Weather Center. But we want to check in with Sunrise reporter Thomas Schultz. He's been on the coast all morning. Earlier, Thomas in Cannon Beach, now a little to the north in Seaside. What are conditions like out there?
Well, guys, similarly to what we saw in Cannon Beach, those conditions are still relatively calm. We haven't seen big gusts and big waves from the water. A lot of people, of course, are staying off the water, and everybody here in Seaside is well aware that a tsunami advisory is in effect that we talked to. A lot of people that we talked to so far this morning are visiting, and we're surprised to hear about it. It changed their travel plans just a bit, and they're keeping a close eye, just as everybody is around here on the coast. Seaside, officials tell us, is particularly susceptible when you have a tsunami advisory in effect. That's because it's lower elevation and it just has more people than many towns along the Oregon coast. It also has a lot more visitors. All across the coast, once again, people are closely monitoring these advisories, not just here in Oregon, but in Washington as well. And they're heeding advice to stay out of the water, stay off the beaches. We do see a couple people out there. Again, do not do that today. That's not the place to be on a day like today. Again, these conditions are calm, but they could change at any time. They're somewhat volatile, so the best case scenario is just to stay away from water and the beaches as much as you can.
Well, at first I was scared. It's just my first experience in my life hearing about tsunami, that it can hit you so close, like being at the coast. So I was kind of anxious, but then I realized that it's going to be okay.
Now, the National Weather Service says during tsunami advisories, things can happen, right? You can fall in the water, drownings are possible as those conditions rise up. Rod's been telling us all throughout the morning that in this instance, it's not necessarily so much so far the waves that are higher. Of course, that can change. The biggest issue is the current that you want to be aware of. Again, the easiest thing to do is just to stay out of the water completely, stay off the beaches, as officials are telling us all throughout the morning. And even going back into last night, officials have been monitoring this closely, not just here in Seaside, but all up and down the Oregon coast and Washington coast as well. And we've seen some police patrols in Cannon Beach and along the beaches actually here in Seaside. They tell us that, look, if things happen and we do need to respond, we will be ready to do so when that happens. Back to you.
All right, Thomas Schultz live for us there along the North Coast. Thank you, Thomas. You mentioned the currents. The strongest currents so far being detected by the monitoring systems that we have access to are actually down around south of Lincoln City, all the way down into Northern California. And honestly, I don't know if the data I'm looking at is actually just a normal day or not, but that is where the strongest currents are. The advisory, it's important to note at this point, we've been covering this story. This quake first hit more than 24 hours ago in the 4 o'clock hour, our local time yesterday afternoon. We don't know if there's a push of high water out there just waiting that hasn't gotten here yet. It's not, I don't have any data that indicates that could happen or not happen. So we simply will keep alerting you to the advisory for all of the Oregon and Washington coast until the advisory goes away. And again, there's no clue when that's going to happen. But as long as this advisory is up, make your life easy. Make your life easy for the first responders as well. Just stay away from the ocean, the beaches. Don't go walking around marinas or anything like that until we are given the all clear sign. And so far, that all clear sign has simply not happened. The one spot where they are noticing a rise in water is this area under a tsunami warning. This is extreme Northern California, Crescent City. Reports this morning show they've had an increase in the water height or wave heights coming in to about 4 feet above normal. And again, they continue to be under a warning. Outside of this area, you've got to go to the Hawaiian Islands where they find several reporting sites are saying we've had an increased wave or water height of 3 to 4 feet. There was a report on Maui early this morning that showed an increase in water level up to 6 feet. Again, that's over on the Hawaiian Islands. They too are under an advisory as we are here in Oregon and Washington. So at the coast, the tsunami advisory, increased wave heights maybe no detection in that to less than 2 feet, light winds. It's important to note that the marine forecast today, which just says we're going to have 2 to 3 feet seas, and as you know, that's pretty typical, right? So that's what the buoys have been showing, 2 to 3 feet. Again, that's not alarming, that's typical. That's your update for now.
All right, that is Rod Hill. I apologize. Director Brian Matthews in my ear there telling me that we were going to stay with Rod, but apparently not. We'll get back to Rod a little bit later. Of course, Rod and the rest of us have been talking a lot this morning about tsunami watches, advisories, and warnings. So the big question right now is, how are they all different? Well, we're going to explain it for you right here. In fact, it starts with a fourth category. The first category to be aware of is one called an information statement. Never heard of this one before. Probably because it means literally nothing. It means there is no threat at all. All right, we'll get to the other three right here. A tsunami watch means to get prepared, stay tuned for more information, be ready to act if necessary. The advisory means stay out of the water and stay away from beaches. It's also what is happening this morning along most of the West Coast, including the coasts of Oregon and Washington. And then finally, you have your tsunami warnings, which mean move to higher ground or move inland right away. Stick with KGW. We will continue to cover this story, of course, bring you more updates with Rod in the Weather Center. All of it coming up here on KGW Plus and continually on KGW.com.
In other local headlines this morning, evacuation notices have been lifted near a Wilco farm store near Highway 99W in McMinnville after a multi-vehicle crash ignited a propane tank yesterday afternoon.
Yeah, police say it impacted rush hour traffic starting around 4 o'clock on 99W, Lafayette Avenue, Grand Haven Drive, and the entire surrounding area. You can see some of the video here. Really dramatic stuff yesterday afternoon in McMinnville. McMinnville Water and Light shut off power to customers behind that Wilco store, and they asked people to stay out of the area. Meanwhile, crews worked overnight to do a controlled release of the propane. We expect to get some more information about all this from police later today. Meanwhile, police are investigating a bias crime at a Northeast Portland business with Jewish ties. Officers say on June 14th, in the middle of the night, this man approached the entrance of the business on Northwest Broadway, muttered profanities, and then drew a swastika on the door frame. Police released these surveillance photos and are asking for tips that might help them track the man down.
Portland police are asking for help identifying arson suspects. They say several fires have recently been set near Irving Park, one on July 20th and another last Sunday. The damage included a shed, utility trailer, a garage door, a vehicle, and a dumpster. Luckily, no one was hurt. But if you live in the area, police are asking for any saved video from your security system between July 20th and July 27th. They say raw footage is the best. You can find links to upload on Portland Police's website under press releases.
Hey, there's a newly formed advocacy group called Rip City Forever. Their main goal is to make sure that the Blazers stay in Portland as the team moves towards a potential sale. So this group is made up of former players, executive, and local business owners who say they do not want to see the team move to another city after a sale happens. More than 100 community leaders have signed a petition to Mayor Keith Wilson and Governor Tina Kotek. If you want more information about this petition, you can check it out at ripcityforever.com.
Your time now is 8:08. We're headed over to Rod Hill. You got a lot on your plate, a lot of stuff you're tracking today.
Yeah, I've been trying to get my eyes on everything I would normally get my eyes on away from the tsunami news. So part of the overall biggest weather story this week in terms of day-to-day has been the thunderstorm activity, right? Here's Futurecast at 6 o'clock this evening. More storms, maybe some good beneficial heavy rainfall with them, which is what Futurecast is showing in the Bend Bachelor area, and there is a threat of storms farther east. So from what I can tell, there's 2 large wildfires reported to have started yesterday. Now the Rock Creek one, which is near the Idaho border down in southeastern Oregon, a fast 8,000 acres burned. That's a quick one. This was lightning started yesterday. There's a second one in eastern Oregon. This is more up toward Baker County, again, near the Idaho border, called the Lost Tom Fire. I like the name. 1,500 acres burned of grass and brush on that one as well. And I bring this up because we still have red flag warnings and high fire danger and the fear that today's lightning could spark new fire starts once again. Those 2 big ones are the ones making news I just mentioned from 24 hours ago. Latest Futurecast model, so the model that came out overnight had this rain at 11 o'clock tomorrow morning in Portland. Now it keeps it over the Cascades. So we don't know if we're going to get any rain overnight tonight and tomorrow in the valley. I think it's still possible there could be a rogue or spotty thunderstorm pop. Certainly still possible we could have some rain showers move through Portland at some point tomorrow, but probably 99% of this action is going to stay near to east of the Cascades. Today we know we're going to be all dry. It's going to be mostly sunny. We'll be close to 90. Yesterday we made it to 91. Right now it's 64, 65 in Hillsborough, 61 out in Happy Valley. We have light winds. I mean, it's really a nice morning, 66 in Salem. Reggie, by the way, with the glasses on. Hello. Probably sees better than I do. Most animals do. KGW, dog of the day at KGW.com. This is the email to send us your dog's photos and names. Your dog will become our dog of the day. So central and eastern areas, thunderstorm threat, heat advisory for upper 90s to near 90 from the Dalles into Pendleton today, 80s to maybe just making it to 90 in the valley. We do believe the coast has a good chance of becoming partly sunny. It's been an overcast morning at the beaches this morning. Last hot day for a while, 90 degrees, Portland down to 80 tomorrow, mix of cloudiness, maybe some rain showers, and then comfortably 79, 80, and 77 Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and that is your update.
All right, thank you, Rod. Quick look at traffic this morning. We're keeping an eye on drive times around the area. 3 to mind right here, right now. I guess that last one, the bottom one there at your screen, is the one we're most concerned about, only because it's in red. I-5 north to drive in from Wilsonville to downtown Portland. 35 minutes at this point. Following yesterday's huge earthquake off the coast of Russia, we're talking about the big one as well this morning. Seismologists believe it's not a matter of if it'll happen here in the Northwest, but when. A look at the science behind the big one coming up. And we're also taking a look at the latest tsunami conditions in Hawaii. We'll have more on all of that as Sunrise continues.
The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news, live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus.
As we continue to cover the 8.8 magnitude earthquake that hit off the coast of Russia yesterday afternoon, we're also talking about the threat of the big one here in the Pacific Northwest.
This morning, our Environment Northwest team takes a look at what makes this part of the country so prone to a major quake.
Northwest is one of the most seismically active regions in the United States. The threat of an earthquake at any given moment is real in Washington, Oregon, and Idaho. Right below our feet is the meeting place of multiple tectonic plates slowly moving and pushing against each other. The edges of those masses move and break, causing the ground to shake or volcanoes to form. The place where two of these tectonic plates meet, the Juan de Fuca plate and the North American plate, sits just off the coast and poses the biggest threat for a major earthquake and potential tsunami. It's called the Cascadia Subduction Zone.
And that's why we talk about things like drop, cover, hold on.
Harold Tobin is Washington State seismologist and director of the Pacific Northwest Seismic Network.
Most earthquakes happen in the crust, and a few happen just in the parts of the Earth's mantle that are down these things called subduction zones.
The Cascadia Subduction Zone is a megathrust fault, or the meeting place of two tectonic plates. The Juan de Fuca plate is being forced under the North American plate at a convergent boundary. Friction keeps the plates from moving, but when the force of the plates grows too strong, friction gives way and the plates suddenly move and then stop. The sheer size of the fault means it is capable of producing some of the strongest earthquakes in the world. A magnitude 8 or 9 earthquake off the coast could cause widespread devastation. The movement of those plates is also capable of producing a devastating tsunami along the Pacific coast in Puget Sound. Not all earthquakes occur at the meeting place of tectonic plates. Some, like the Nisqually earthquake in 2001, are caused by the cracking of just one of the plates. As the Juan de Fuca moves underneath the North American plate, the edges become brittle as they are pushed downward. Cracks form in the massive tectonic plate, causing the ground above to shake. While they can still cause devastation, these tend to be weaker than megathrust faults and often don't produce a tsunami threat. The most common fault in the Northwest is the crustal fault. Relatively small cracks forming along the edge of the North American plate, often closer to population centers than their deeper counterparts. Crustal earthquakes are caused by the ground being pushed or pulled apart by the movement of the plate boundary. While those faults don't have the potential to produce a mega earthquake, a magnitude 7 close to a city center still poses a major threat. The two biggest crustal faults are the Seattle Fault and South Whidbey Island Fault. The other sleeping giants of the Northwest are the volcanoes. The final threat of earthquakes in the Northwest comes from volcanic activity. The moving magma beneath the Earth's surface causes changing pressure on the tectonic plates. The changing pressure creates faults or shaking as the ground moves below. Oftentimes we hear of cluster quakes. They signify movement, but not impending eruption. However, long period quakes like what led up to Mount St. Helens are often a sign of something bigger looming. For Environment Northwest, I'm meteorologist Jeremy Legoo.
We are also keeping an eye on Hawaii this morning. So this shot is courtesy of EarthCam. After yesterday's earthquake near Russia, people in Hawaii were actually told to evacuate and brace for the possibility of a severe tsunami impact. But about 6 hours ago, officials downgraded that warning to a tsunami advisory so people there can go back to their homes. And this is what it looked like late last night. You can see that the water rose in those parking lots near the ocean. Thankfully, no major damage has been reported. I'm sure we'll learn more as the morning goes on. Rod.
Yeah. So we're literally trying to work hard for you and get our eyes on as much information as possible. Our Corey Johnson, who's new to our weather department, you're going to get to know her in the coming weeks and months. She's terrific. You're going to love her. She did me the favor of emailing the Weather Service, and they got back to her saying, are you seeing anything on your models that we don't have access to in terms of any movement of water basically out in the Pacific? They said, no, not really. Again, they verified that the only detection of increased wave or water heights along our local coast has been in the order of 1 to 3 inches at most, so that's practically nothing, right? They did, though, double down on the impact of the unpredictability of the ocean currents with these tsunami situations going on, which is what we've been saying. The biggest factor threat-wise could be the danger of the currents, not the water. And the Weather Service doubling down on that. So again, as long as this advisory's up, stay away from the beaches, stay away from the water itself in the marinas and floating docks and all that type of stuff. And at this point, it's what, 8:18 in the morning now. We still have no idea if this advisory is going to be with us for the remainder of today or if it's going to be dropped at some point in our near future. We simply do not know, but we are comforted with the fact that we really haven't seen anything happen yet. And let's hope we don't, but we don't know. So we still have the advisory in play, and you're still asked to avoid the beaches today. All right, the other part of our story, more thunderstorms firing up later this afternoon. Not storms, but rain showers, which is great news, right? Moving across Madras and Jefferson County and out toward Mount Jefferson. I do believe we'll stay dry again here in the valley today with generally mostly sunny skies and hotter temperatures coming this afternoon. This is 3:05. Thunderstorms firing from south to north up in central Oregon around Bend once again, and then a little bit farther to the east at 10 o'clock. And then kind of fizzles out overnight. This is tomorrow morning at 10 a.m., showing some rain showers up around Mount Hood. But the latest update, now earlier this morning when our sunrise show started, this same model was showing these rain showers into Portland around 10 or 11 in the morning. Now they're saying, well, maybe on the east side of town. So there is a threat still of a spotty storm in the valley tonight or tomorrow morning. There's a threat of maybe just at least some scattered light rain showers at some point going into tomorrow here in the valley, but it's just a chance. We may not see anything. The thunderstorm action, the meat of it, if not all of it, will continue to be out here in central and eastern areas of the state. This is tomorrow evening at 8 o'clock. You can see the red showing the big downpours with thunderstorm potential. All right, Reserve Venus and Golf Club in Loa, mighty fine morning we have going, 64 degrees. We have light winds. Downtown Portland, sunny, 64 degrees as well. We have clouds at the beach, but partly sunny skies expected to be developing during the day. Winds are light, and the marine forecast, this is important to note, the marine forecast says the seas will be 2 to 3 feet today. That's typical stuff. Nothing to do with the tsunami. So hopefully that's all we see, right? All right, here's a look at our forecast numbers for today. Back up to about 90 in Salem, McMinnville, Corvallis, 88. We'll call it a hot afternoon with light winds. Similar conditions up in Southwest Washington. Maybe only mid-80s, though, up in Longview and Kelso. 88 Battleground, 90 in Vancouver, and about 90 in Portland. We'll either just get there or stay shy. And then the shower threat with a mix of cloudiness, only about 80 tomorrow. And that sets the stage for 79 Friday, 80 Saturday, and 77 Sunday. And what will be a very nice first weekend of August coming up. August 1st, of course, is Friday.
Thank you, Rod. Appreciate that. Coming up next on Sunrise, how the FBI managed to track down a suspect who allegedly assaulted an officer during an ICE protest.
The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust on your time. Track how the weather will impact your day.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
Extended, continuous coverage of breaking news live from the scene.
That snowpack is still heavy.
Go deeper with in-depth interviews and exclusive reporting. All the local news you need, live or on demand. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free.
We have some new developments to share in the arrest of a Portland man accused of assaulting an officer during an ICE protest. We've learned that the FBI used facial recognition photos posted online to find him. Evan Watson has a closer look at how the investigation unfolded.
Since June, nearly 24 people have been arrested on charges connected to ICE protests in Southwest Portland. The latest, 24-year-old Jacob Hoops, a Reed College graduate. FBI investigators say Hoops threw a rock and hit an ICE officer in the head, then later used a stop sign to damage the ICE building. But they didn't know who he was until the Oregonian posted a photo of Hoops taking care of another protester.
It's clear to me that what the FBI did is standard practice.
The FBI used commercially available facial recognition technology to search for their suspect, matched him to photos posted on a Reed College photo sharing page, tracked him to his home, and then arrested him. Adam Scott Want, associate professor at John Jay College of Criminal Justice, says this is nothing new.
Law enforcement is getting much better at solving crimes than they were just a decade ago. Facial recognition and AI have given law enforcement extremely significant powers when it comes to investigations.
A pink gas mask, a distinct tattoo, all listed as evidence by the FBI investigator.
The facial recognition technology in this particular case was as justifiable as it gets.
Catherine Crump is a professor at Berkeley Law School.
That said, it's really problematic that we've done as bad a job as we have in this country in regulating the use of technology like this. There should be clear rules of the road. We need safeguards to ensure that this powerful technology is used in a way that advances legitimate law enforcement interests, but that stave off possibilities of abuse.
Hoops appeared in court Monday. A judge released him from custody with certain restrictions until his trial.
I do think it's striking throughout the affidavit just how many different forms of surveillance were used, how many sources of video they were, and it just really drove home how technology has transformed the act of being in public and engaging in protest.
That was Evan Watson reporting. Hoops pleaded not guilty and his attorney did not respond to our request for comment. Reed College, who helped investigators confirm Hoops as their suspect, also declined to comment. Now to a look at your morning rush. The Trump administration is proposing revoking scientific funding from the Environmental Protection Agency. The proposal would rescind a 2009 declaration that carbon dioxide and other greenhouse gases endangered public health and welfare. The proposal still has to go through a lengthy review process before it's finalized, which would likely happen next year. Before then, environmental groups can try to challenge the rule in court. Starbucks says it's abandoning mobile order and pickup only stores, saying that they don't have the right vibes. The locations don't have any seating and are meant to get customers in and out quickly. Starbucks is currently working on a prototype coffee house that will be similar to what they have now. And a new survey by Optimum says Americans spend more than 10 hours online every day. That's a total including time spent gaming, browsing the internet, paying bills, and streaming shows or movies. And that's a look at your morning rush.
We're in Seaside here, where a tsunami advisory is in effect, not just here, but along the Oregon and Washington coast. We'll tell you how people here are feeling right now.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus. The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free.
Issued a weather impact alert.
We could expect conditions in some parts of our area to change drastically pretty soon, right?
And very quickly, yes.
This is significant rainfall coming our way.
You'll definitely want to be extra cautious.
It's certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
We've got the potential for some tree limbs or even trees or power lines to come down.
Of course, when you hear thunder, it's always best to take cover.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stream extended coverage on KGW Plus.
Most of the West Coast is under a tsunami advisory after yesterday's 8.8 earthquake off the coast of Russia. Officials say it was the 6th largest earthquake on record. The tsunami advisory along the Oregon and Washington coast, by the way, is not a call to evacuate. People in those areas should simply be on alert today and stay off the beach until that advisory is lifted. All right, Rob, what do you see there in the Weather Center?
Well, for starters, we just showed our Schnickwiz Casino Resort camera on our streaming channel, KGW Plus, and it showed people out walking on the beach near the water. Please do the emergency responders a favor, and if you're at the beach, stay off of the beaches, stay out of the water's way until this advisory is lifted. So far, nothing has really happened, but we're still under the gun with the advisory in effect. For Portland, it's just another mostly sunny day. We'll get up to about 90. We made it to 91 yesterday. There will be more thunderstorms firing in central and eastern areas of our state this afternoon and this evening. And there's still the threat of some rain shower activity here in the valley tomorrow that we may or may not see, but it will be cooling down. Thursday's high 80. I have Friday at 79 degrees.
We are continuing our extensive coverage of the tsunami advisory along most of the West Coast after an 8.8 earthquake hit off the coast of Russia yesterday afternoon.
Yeah, officials are calling this the 6th largest earthquake ever on record. Sunrise reporter Thomas Schultz is covering this for us in Seaside right now. So Thomas, what are you seeing out there?
Well, it's interesting, Drew. We're here at Seaside in the downtown core right next to the beach, and we're seeing fire crews drive along the beach, though there's still people walking on the beach or even near the water out there, something that they really should not be doing on a day like today with the tsunami advisory in effect. The official message is stay off the beaches, stay out of the water. Seaside in particular is particularly susceptible to tsunami advisories like this one, and something that they really have a lot of caution when it comes into effect. That's because it's at a lower elevation than most towns along the coast. It also has a higher population, and it's a big tourist destination. Right now, Seaside officials, like many across the area, are on high alert, but not overly concerned. Higher than normal waves could be happening here at the beach. Currents, as Rod has been telling us all morning long, could be stronger than usual as well. The big thing here is this is volatile, guys. Even though it's relatively calm right now, that could change. And officials, again, one more time, we can't reiterate this enough, are asking people to stay off the beach, stay out of the water. Some visitors that we spoke to here at Seaside say they also checked with their hotel when learning.
Well, we talked to the front desk, and we're in this building here, so it's pretty stable, secure. It's built for that kind of thing. So they just said to get above the fifth floor and up. And so we were just going to go to the top floor
and go from there
and see how it was.
And it's not just Seaside and people here that are keeping a close eye on this. It's possible we see an impact, that is, up and down the Oregon and Washington coastline. In a tsunami advisory, the National Weather Service says strong waves and currents are possible. That can also lead to injuries or even drownings. Strong shaking or rolling of the ground can indicate an earthquake or mean that a tsunami is imminent. And once again, officials not only here in Seaside, but all the way down in Lincoln City, all the way up in Astoria along the Oregon coastline, are keeping a close watch on this tsunami advisory right now. They say, again, not overly concerned, but that can change. And if it does change, they are ready to respond at a moment's notice. Rod?
Hey, Thomas, I want to ask you a question. Have you noticed emergency personnel with like megaphones or walking, saying, get off of the beach, or really trying to alert the people that are walking on the beaches right now to get them off?
It's really interesting, Rod, and frankly a little bit surprising to me. We've seen one vehicle, that emergency personnel vehicle, that was monitoring the coastline. I didn't see them at least talk to anybody. Now, there's not a lot of people out there, but maybe a handful right along the coastline. So it's unclear if maybe they're just monitoring, checking conditions. Surprising to me, at least, that you wouldn't go pull up and say, hey, you really can't be on the coastline right now. You got to stay out of the water with a tsunami advisory in effect. We'll, of course, continue to keep watch to see if maybe more personnel come and start to reiterate that message a little bit more throughout the morning.
All right, our Thomas Schultz live for us there at the turnaround in Seaside. Thank you very much, Thomas. By the way, you heard that sound in the background. We're told there's construction going on, so that's why there was a little noise in the background of Thomas's shot. So, yes, we have the advisory up. And the number one message at this point, one of them, is probably that we don't know how long the advisory is going to be with us. It may be up all day. It may come down at any moment. We don't know. We also don't know, and Thomas alluded to this, we've only seen water rises of like 1 to 3 inches at most so far along the Oregon coast. Is that it, or is there a surge out there yet to be seen? We don't really know that yet either. So as long as you have word that there is an advisory, please stay off the beaches. Please stay away from the water. Don't go walking around marinas either until this advisory is lifted. There is some good news. I want to take you down to California. This just happened within the last 5 minutes. See Crescent City? This was the one sliver of the entire west coast of the U.S. that was under a tsunami warning. That warning has been lifted, and now that has been downgraded to a simple advisory. Now, this is an area that did see some substantial rise in water up to just shy of 4 feet. So I don't know if what had come in at 4 feet was hours ago and that's now subsided, but they have downgraded that to an advisory. That's simply good news, no matter how you look at it. All right, so we're in that advisory area. Again, stay out of the ocean, off the beaches. No evacuations expected at this point, and we will keep you updated and certainly let you know on all of our platforms here at KGW when this advisory is allowed to expire or be canceled. Is that going to be today or not? We don't know. The coast, increased wave heights up to nothing to less than 2 feet. Not really expecting much there, but the dangerous currents, certainly a concern. Partly sunny skies expected this afternoon. Right now it's mostly cloudy along the beaches. Portland, beautiful sunny morning. We're at 64 degrees right now. This will be another day that warms up to about 90 for us. Rain showers in Madras. We are expecting a thunderstorm threat. There it is in Central Oregon a little bit later today. Reserve Vineyards and Golf Club also showing our sunshine. Let me give you your 7-day, and then I'll be back in a few minutes with a longer weather forecast. Here comes the 7-day. 90 today. Shower chance tomorrow that we may or may not get, only 80, and then the pleasant temperatures into the weekend. That is your weather for now.
Thank you, Rod. And we are also keeping an eye on Hawaii this morning. This shot is courtesy of EarthCam. The sun is starting to rise up there right now.
Yeah, just a little after 5:30 there in the morning in Hawaii. After yesterday's earthquake near Russia, people in Hawaii were told to evacuate and brace for the possibility of a severe tsunami impact. But earlier this morning, officials downgraded that warning to a tsunami advisory so the people there can actually go back to their homes.
Madison Wade with our sister station Seattle is actually on vacation in Hawaii right now.
She sent us this report about what conditions look like in Honolulu and what she saw overnight.
Hi everyone, Madison Wade here in Waikiki. We are still under this tsunami warning right now. Haven't seen anything too concerning at this hour in terms of any water coming up onto the walkway or the roads here. I am keeping a close watch on the waves right now. We're hearing and seeing a lot of waves, but again, nothing of too much of concern. What I did see earlier though that was interesting was everyone in this area in Waikiki were cheering and shouting and chanting at one point, which I believe was their response to not seeing any major waves around that 7:10 mark, which is when we were expecting to see the first waves hit. So I'll play that clip for you right now. Yeah, it was quite interesting to see people react that way, but also showed quite a sense of unity and community here, as a lot of people were just really uncertain and anxious watching this all unfold. People are starting to head inside and go to bed. A lot of people are still watching right now, but not seeing anything too concerning at this moment. Still being told from the hotel to stay in our rooms and stay up higher than the 4th floor. But again, no water, no waves coming in. I'll give you a closer look too at what the water looks like right now as well. So if anything changes, I'll be sure to let you know.
Again, that was Madison Wade with our sister station in Seattle reporting for us from Hawaii this morning. Stick with us. KGW will continue to bring you updates on this morning's tsunami advisory right here on KGW Plus, as well as KGW.com.
In other local headlines, opening statements got underway yesterday in a trial for a car crash that killed an 11-year-old in southeast Portland more than 2 years ago. The defendant, Dupree Smith, is accused of running a red light at more than 80 miles per hour, causing the deadly crash. He says that he was rushing because he had been shot while attending a funeral and was trying to get to the hospital. Smith is also accused of driving under the influence. He pleaded not guilty to the charges. Ryan Ambrose, the 11-year-old who was killed in the crash, was in Portland visiting family. Meantime, Portland City Council Candace Avalos, who represents District 1, has a new plan to tackle homelessness. She believes that there are too many different plans addressing homelessness created by different people with different agreements between different government partners. She says it's just getting confusing. So her proposed strategy would take the best of all the city plans and create a single roadmap with a focus on improving housing stability for people of color and single mothers. The plan also aims to improve the city's permitting program to make it easier and faster to build new housing. That's also good for the environment. So those are just some of the key parts of the housing strategy she was talking about. She talked more with KGW's Blair Best on the story. You can watch their full conversation anytime on KGW+.
The state of Oregon is joining more than 20 other states in a lawsuit that challenges the Trump administration's efforts to defund Planned Parenthood clinics. This news comes after the president signed a spending bill into law that prohibits Medicaid payments at health care centers that provide abortions. A federal judge recently blocked the Trump administration from enforcing this measure, but Oregon Attorney General Dan Rayfield says he still plans to pursue this lawsuit. In a statement, Rayfield said, quote, "Planned Parenthood is where thousands of Oregonians go for cancer screenings, contraception, and basic medical care." He went on to say that pulling Medicaid funding does not make that need disappear. He says it simply makes it harder for people to stay healthy. All right, most of America should expect to spend a little bit more when it comes to bathroom and laundry items. That's because Procter & Gamble says recent tariffs imposed by the Trump administration, they're going to cost the company about $1 billion. So they're not going to take on that cost by themselves. They're going to say prices will go up about 25% now on all of their products.
Your time now is 8:40. Taking a look at your drive times right now. 23 minutes is what's going to take you from Main Street to I-405, and then green is go. All good looking from Patton Parkway to I-84. Going to take you 12 minutes.
Coming up next on Sunrise, we're heading back to the Oregon coast. We're going to go to Seaside, where people, like most of the coast, being urged to stay off the beaches today because of the ongoing tsunami advisory. We're going to hear from Seaside's city manager after this.
Hey, I'm Blair Best, and tonight at 6:30 on The Story, we head to Southwest Washington, where controversy is brewing over a Stevenson city councilor protesting topless for transgender rights. I sat down with her and the woman leading a petition to recall that councilor. Watch The Story tonight, live at 6:30 on KGW, or anytime on our TV app, KGW+. Have a great morning, and I'll see you tonight.
The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust on your time. Track how the weather will impact your day.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
Extended, continuous coverage of breaking news live from the scene.
That snowpack is still heavy.
Go deeper with in-depth interviews and exclusive reporting. All the local news you need, live or on demand. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free.
We have now issued a weather impact alert.
We could expect conditions in some parts of our area to change drastically pretty soon, right?
And very quickly, yeah.
This is significant rainfall coming our way.
You'll definitely want to be extra cautious.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
We've got the potential for some tree limbs or even trees or power lines to come down.
Of course, when you hear thunder, it's always best to take cover.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stream extended coverage on KGW+.
All right, let's get to an update on the Burdoin fire that's burning on the Washington side of the gorge near Lyle. The latest update shows it's now 72% contained, so conditions definitely improving there. After burning over 11,000 acres, crews say they've made good progress and have actually sent some firefighters home. The crews who are staying behind will work on mopping up the fire.
Meanwhile, Portland General Electric unveiled a new tool to make it easier to spot and monitor wildfires as they happen. So it's a whole network of wildfire detection cameras. And for the first time, it's completely accessible to the public. As you can see, the cameras are strategically placed throughout PGE's service area near power lines and forested land. The system uses artificial intelligence to detect smoke, flag potential ignitions, and alert emergency responders sometimes hours before a call comes in. It's a tool for homeowners, hikers, anyone who just wants to keep an eye on the landscape during fire season. You can access it from PGE's website.
I think for tsunamis, Seaside is the most vulnerable along the Oregon coast. We are the lowest in elevation. We have a high population and density of people close to the beach.
The Oregon and Washington coast, all of it, under a tsunami advisory this morning. So we just heard from the city manager of Seaside there. People in Seaside were asked to leave city beaches last night.
And just as the tsunami alerts came in, Seaside also had an unexplained power outage, though it wasn't connected to the advisory, but it did cause chaos and concern for the community for a few hours. The city manager telling KGW conditions last night will actually work in their favor.
It coincides with low tide, so it actually is the best possible scenario we could see for Seaside. Because of the low tide, I'm not sure if it will even be noticed, but we're advising people to stay off the beaches. This could affect currents and things like that in the ocean, in our estuary and things like that. So if people just stay back from that, I think everyone should be just fine.
We also know there's a lot of fishing boats out at sea near Astoria. So Astoria's emergency manager talked to us and said it's up to the Coast Guard to make sure that the men and women on those boats have the very latest information.
It is being monitored. Our dispatch center is aware of it. Our county's EOC has partially been activated and they're keeping an eye on things. And the communication channels have been open.
And then we want to go back to 2011 when a 9.1 magnitude earthquake hit Japan, killing 20,000 people.
Yeah, we're going to show you some footage from back then. This is from Japan's northeast coast. After the tsunami hit, it destroyed more than 120,000 buildings and damaged 1 million more. It also caused a nuclear meltdown at the Fukushima power plant. That power plant is still in the process of being decommissioned.
That tsunami also impacted the southern Oregon coast, destroying some docks and boats in the Port of Brookings.
Once that debris got moving around in here, it just, got heavier and kept breaking things.
It sunk boats, so it was pretty impressive. It's a lot of damage.
The impact of the tsunami that hit the Port of Brookings in 2011 led to millions of dollars in damages.
It's important to know that note that Japan video. If you saw that, it's not like there was a big tidal wave that comes in. It's just that the water's here, and then all of a sudden the water's here, and before you know it, you've got water 20 feet inland from where you had it. It's not like you don't get a big wave. You just get and it can be sudden where the water really comes up. Now, again, so far this morning, the Weather Service, we talked to them, it's been about an hour now, confirmed that so far it's 1 inch, 2 inches, 3 inches at most, in some areas no inches of increased water level along the Oregon coast, and it's low tide, so that's not really something that's noticeable. The advisory is still up, and we don't know when it's going to be canceled. And I don't mean to talk out of turn, but just I'm wondering inside my mind, could they leave the advisory up, the Weather Service, for example, throughout much of today, in large part because you want to keep people out of the water because there's still that real chance that there will be unpredictably strong and volatile currents in the water. So maybe that, that's certainly something that needs to be guarded against. So for now, as long as that advisory is up, just stay away from the beaches and stay away from the water. Do yourself and everybody else a favor. All right, the other part of our story, again, here we go. We had thunderstorms Monday, Tuesday. Now it's Wednesday. Here they come. 3 o'clock this afternoon, south to north again, moving up into central and eastern areas. Latest Futurecast models, this is 10 o'clock tonight, pretty much keep 99% of everything east of the Cascades. This is tomorrow morning. It shows some cloudiness, but rain showers mainly along the Cascades. And then later in the day, again, showers mainly the Cascade foothills, and then a new round of storms tomorrow evening at 8 o'clock, moving between Bend and over towards Baker City area. And then we get into Friday morning, rain still primarily out east, some cloudiness here to start, and then we'll get some sunshine developing in the afternoon. Now, this did not show it, but I still feel there's at least a possibility of a spotty thunderstorm tonight in the valley somewhere, or tomorrow. There's still at least a chance of a spotty or scattered light shower somewhere in the valley tomorrow. So maybe we get some rain, some of us. Maybe we don't. Maybe it does all stay over the Cascades. We think the coast will eventually clear out. It is cloudy there this morning. There's Chinook Casino resort camera from Lincoln City, 60 degrees. Winds light to a bit of a breeze. Mostly sunny skies inland, 66 over Salem right now, 63 up in Kelso. Waiting for more thunderstorm activity over in central and eastern Oregon to fire today. And there's also a heat advisory from White Salmon, the Dalles, out in Umatilla County, Pendleton, and then up into the Columbia Basin of Washington for temperatures near 100. This shows the Dalles this afternoon at 98 degrees. Winds in the gorge expected to be not bad again, just west 5 to 15 miles per hour. Valley temperatures trying to get up to just 90, not that we want to, or just stay shy of it. This shows Longview 84, but Battleground 88 and Vancouver 90 degrees. And here are the other temperatures statewide. Again, thunderstorm threat with red flag warnings and high fire danger. We had 2 large fires that ignited from thunderstorms yesterday. One of them was about right here, and one of them was down farther near the Idaho border in southeastern Oregon. So new fire starts a concern absolutely later today. Portland 7-day, 90 today, 80 tomorrow. Mix of cloudiness, a shower threat. Real comfortable Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It is birthday time. Short list today, but a good one. It starts with Tanner, and our director Brian Matthews tell me that is a smallmouth bass. Beautiful fish there. Tanner's 17. Congratulations on the catch, and have a happy birthday. Here comes Rod. Hi, Rod. Love your name, by the way. Love your face. Love that head. Love it all. Rod's 79 today, and with his buddy there on the left. Almost, yeah, I don't know who that is on the left. Cool guy, though. Birthday's at KGW.com. We'll celebrate with you.
Traffic update on your Wednesday morning. A couple of drive times to check out, including that one at the top of your screen. The I-5 South drive from Main Street to 405 is at 21 minutes right now. A little bit better, a 12-minute drive, I-5 or I-205 South from Patton Parkway to I-84.
The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust on your time. Track how the weather will impact your day.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
Extended, continuous coverage of breaking news live from the scene.
That snowpack is still heavy.
Go deeper with in-depth interviews and exclusive reporting. All the local news you need, live or on demand. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus.
Here's a quick recap of some of this morning's top stories. Most of the West Coast remains under a tsunami advisory after yesterday's 8.8 earthquake off the coast of Russia. Officials say it was the 6th largest quake on record. Keep in mind, the tsunami advisory does not mean people need to evacuate the Oregon and Washington coasts. It means people should be on alert and stay off the beach as long as this advisory is in play. Evacuation notices have been lifted in McMinnville after a car crash ignited a propane tank outside a Wilco farm store yesterday afternoon. McMinnville Water and Light shut off power to customers near the store and asked people to avoid the area, while crews worked overnight to do a controlled release of that propane. Portland police are asking for help to track down suspects involved in some recent arson cases. They say several fires were recently set near Irving Park. So if you live in that area, police are asking for a video from your security system during specific days and times earlier this month. You can find more information on the Portland Police website.
All right, Drew mentioned the tsunami advisory. You don't know how long that's going to be in effect. We'll let you know when it is lifted. 90 today, dry, mostly sunny in Portland. Tomorrow, a shower threat from those thunderstorms weakening that will be over in eastern Oregon, and really comfortable weather Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, as you can see.
All right, one last thing to get to that I just don't understand. Collectible craze in Berlin. Hundreds lined up for more than 21 hours to get their hands on a Labubu doll. Labubu. Yeah, it's a toothy little gremlin-looking thing with a huge fan base. The lineup happened at the opening of the first Pop Mart store in Germany, the only official retailer of the dolls. Labubus first became a hit with collectors in Asia, but their popularity exploded internationally in 2023 with the release of plush versions. Since then, Labubu dolls have appeared in the hands of celebrities like Rihanna, Kim Kardashian, and then K-pop star Lisa of Blackpink.
It's Labubu. I'm looking at
Labubu.
Labubu.
Yeah.
Labubu. Okay.
I was, ow! Something's biting me. Oh! It's a Labubu.
Is that actually a
This is what it
Labubu?
is.
That's
This
a
is what-
Labubu. You do.
This is our producers. How much are these?
Oh, he just said a lot. He said
A lot.
Michael is, I think, too embarrassed to admit to what he paid for this.
But that's it, the Labubu.
That's
I think they're
Labubu.
like $70 or something. Don't buy this. Contribute to your 401k instead.
That's probably good advice, China Green.
A reminder, you can watch Sunrise every day here exclusively on KGW Plus. We're so happy to have you. We'll see you back here tomorrow.